From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report, our top stories this week. The Gautrain mega project skills spin-off, a 25 million rand wind atlas project for South Africa, and South Africa is driving forward with its MeerKAT radio telescope project. The Gautrain project calls up the image of a blue and gold train running between Johannesburg and Tshwane, but project leader Jack van der Merwe says it's about much more than this. Irma Venter spoke to him at the project's Midrand depot.
Gautrain Management Agency CEO Jack van der Merwe's involvement in the rapid rail link goes back to 1997. More than 11 years on, this civil engineer by training says he has learned a few valuable lessons, one of them being that any mega project is more about people than anything else.
The first thing that you realize is that it's an absolute team effort. This is an effort that if you don't have a team that support you, you're dead. Secondly, as a civil engineer, I've come to the conclusion that these mega projects are turnkey projects. They require a very varied skill source. So the people that work for you will, in all probability, will always know more about their subject than what you know. So I'm stuck with lawyers, with CAs, with environmentalists, with electrical, mechanical, civil architects. So the whole thing is to get this team together to utilize their capacity, their abilities. So it's actually a human project. It's a project of bringing skills together and running it.
The 25 billion rand Gautrain project, which is being built by the Bombela Consortium in a public-private partnership, or PPP, with the Gauteng government, has sourced its skills far and wide.
Bombela opened an office in London to bring in skills. They brought back 51 engineers, South African engineers who work abroad now. Of them, 17 are black engineers. So it's actually a reverse brain drain. And it just shows you that if you give an engineer a challenge, something that he feels proud to do, he'll come back, he'll come and work here. And that's my hope, is that once the train is finished, Eskom's going to start with the power stations, which is very intensive, very big construction projects. So it's actually something that'll keep on rolling in our country.
Van der Merwe's skills in building a PPP project have also not gone unnoticed.
I've now been invited to go and talk in Australia around PPPs, because as part of their bailout for getting the economy going after the economic crunch, Australia's government's taken a decision to invest in infrastructure. So they want to build roads and rail, and they've asked me to come and talk to them about how do you set up a PPP, how do you run these PPP projects. So it's actually a skills base which is now exportable to the rest of the world. And as long as we keep on building projects in South Africa, and as a developing country we always will, that skills base will have a home in South Africa. It'll have a home from the workers who now get skilled and get a certificate. They can always go from one job to the other job within the country.
Join us after the break to hear about South Africa's 25 billion rand wind project.
Fetch, Fuso, fetch! Good boy. Mitsubishi Fuso, a business's best friend.
South Africa has started the process of creating a wind atlas for the country by 2010. Christy van der Merwe reports.
South Africa's Department of Minerals and Energy is trying to diversify from its heavy reliance on coal-fired power and is encouraging the formation of a renewable energy industry. The potential for wind power, in particular, has been highlighted. The department wants to create an attractive environment for business to enter the wind energy market in South Africa.
The South African wind energy project that we're busy now is a 2-year project, and obviously there's a potential of the next 3 years. So in this 2 years is basically where we focus on these key issues. As I said, the financing, the regulatory regime, the wind atlas. The wind atlas is actually taking 4 years, but within this 2 years we're already going to get some information.
A wind atlas indicating the best sites in the country for wind farms is vital for investors. The more wind at a site, the more electricity generated, and thus more income for investors. South Africa plans to have it done in 2010, at a cost of about 25 million rand. But creating a wind map is a big job.
A combination of measurements and modeling will do the job. The measurement program is, of course, something that will take time, because you need to have measurements that cover sort of the climatological average. That would normally be 3, 5 or 10 years, but a wind atlas can be made based on 1 year high quality measurement campaign, and then the long-term corrections can be done from the global data sets and from existing long-term stations. So I'd say the measurement program for the verification of the accuracy of the modeling, 1 year. Setting up that whole measurement program will take half a year. So now we are 18 months. And then doing the verification and the comparisons and the estimation of the correct parameters and stuff will take another half year after that. So 2 years, you'll have a decent wind map.
After creating a decent wind atlas, this needs to be refined and improved to add value, making the bankability and predictions of projects better. Typically, sites with complex terrain, such as steep mountains, create larger uncertainties with flow models which calculate energy production.
If you are in gentle rolling hills, good nice hills with sort of a height comparable to what a wind turbine is, you get a decent, good speed-up effect on top of such hills. If they are smooth, the models work well, so you would get results that matches what your expectations are, and accessibility is good. Erosion protection is pretty possible. You should take care of the environment when you make your projects in all environmental aspects.
And importantly,
a good site is a site where the public likes the project. And how do we make them like it? Involve them.
South Africa is developing a precursor instrument to the International Square Kilometre Array Radio Telescope. This precursor is called MeerKAT. Keith Campbell reports on the progress so far.
The MeerKAT radio telescope, the CAT part of the name stands for Karoo Array Telescope, will comprise up to 80 dishes. A lot of progress has been made. For example, 14,000 hectares of Karoo have been bought to create the radio-free reserve the instrument needs. Roads and accommodation have been constructed, as has a dish shed in which the dish antennas will be assembled on site. SKA South Africa Project Director Dr. Bernie Vanneroff has more.
Then the development of the dishes and the radio receivers and the feeds and so on is continuing in our Cape Town office. We have awarded a tender to what was IST and is now BAE Land Systems to build 7 dishes for what we call the Cut 7 on the site, and they've already started. The dish pedestals are being manufactured near Pretoria, and the foundations are being cast as we speak on the site in the Karoo. And the first dish will probably be in place by April, and then we hope to have 7 dishes up by the end of this year or beginning of next year. And that will be a prototype, so we'll hang all the systems onto those 7 dishes, but we'll start the prototyping as soon as we have 1 dish up. So with 1 dish we can see certain things. With 2 dishes we'll link them together. It enables us to test other things. With 3 dishes we can go further in our tests, and 4 dishes and so on. And that will enable us to reduce the risk. So for instance, we're developing new radio receivers with cryostats, and that's all stuff that we are having to test out. We have a company in Stellenbosch called EMSS, which is developing new radio feeds for us, very innovative ones.
And now for a sneak preview of this week's Engineering News magazine. Read our cover story where we interview the new Chief of State-owned Defence Industrial Group, Denel. We report that South Africa's power distribution infrastructure backlog is pegged at 27 billion rand. And read about South Africa's plans to invest 80 million rand in the acquisition of a high-resolution transmission electron microscope. And in Mining Weekly this week, we report that diversified mining giant Vale reaffirms its commitment to its investment program despite the global recession. Read how South African diamantaires are pulling together stakeholders to devise a way of riding out the economic slowdown. And we report on the new CEO of Metarex's emphasis on debt reduction. That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.
Creamer Media's Mining Weekly delivers unmatched insight into Africa's premier industry. Breaking news, visit miningweekly.com. Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, empowering mining.